What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? It is DJ in the AM. Welcome, man. Some of you guys are waking up real early to be here, and I appreciate that. That is incredible. So, market yesterday was, red to green, which is usually bullish, but overall, just kind of, I think it was actually red to green, back to red again. So, a little bit of an indecision day, not too much happening after hours. We did have Joe Biden meet with the Fed, and apparently everything is just status quo because the market had zero reactions from that in general. But and I don't know if there's any specific let me do a screen share, but I don't know if there's any specific meetings today. If there is, just throw it out there. I didn't take a look today yet. Share, good, up and running. BEA, beautiful. So let's start with the SPY. Let's try to figure out where SPY could go for sure. See if it's got any range at all today for where we could actually, as day traders, look for some type of edge. You guys are saying, yeah, it should be displayed now though, right? Correct. Yeah, I should see the charts. Beautiful. All right. So as far as the SPY goes, again, relatively flat in general from yesterday. We did have, we have a relatively okay support level, somewhere around this 412.47 zone, 412.50. We had almost a little double bottom yesterday. Pre-market, we're hitting a little double bottom. We took off. We have some type of a neckline. I would expect maybe at open some type of pullback. This would be looking at around 413.70. Maybe the spot to go long. Realistically, in general, we have a nice little, I wouldn't even get too excited to go long there. We have a decent channel, just really just trading sideways between 412.50 and 415.20 from yesterday's close, even a little bit within that range through a lot of yesterday. So once we start breaking out of one of those ranges, I might get a little more excited. I'm hoping we do, because I want a nice exciting day in the market. I think anytime we want to trade, we want to, number one, make some R's, but number two, be able to have some fun doing it too. So let's see how long that takes. Let's see if that happens at all today. As far as the SPY goes, if we do break out higher, then probably really like 415.15. Next target on the SPY becomes 417.35, somewhere in that range, and then maybe 417.91. So we have, I think, limited upside. If we get a crazy bullish move, maybe we're looking at 421.57 today. To the downside, if we start breaching, I have VPOC at 412.14, so 412.15 we'll say. If we start breaching that, next stop down is about 411.36. Then if that one breaks, that becomes a little bit more exciting. Then we have all the way down back to 405.81. So if we break to the downside, we have a decent, more immediate, probably pullback short, just retest the last bullishness in the market. To the upside, I think we're a little bit limited. So we'll see Qs, but yeah, right now, unless something happens in the next 26 minutes, we're probably going to just be trading a little sideways. Qs as well, nothing too crazy out of the gate. We have some kind of channel between 310 and somewhere between 307.26 ish, so 25 we'll call it, but somewhere in that. Right now at the open, we're Qs a little bit stronger, I would say. And that probably has a lot to do with CRM. We'll get to that one too, but a little bit stronger just because, again, you do have some tech companies that did come out, report. But you can see, based on where the SPY is in the channel, this is already toward the higher end. Doesn't mean it's going to break it. Could just mean we drop a little further, faster in the tech sector. But as long as we're in the channel, it's not not that eventful at the open. So we have to see next 26 minutes if anything moves or not. We've got Tesla. We'll hit the stocks that we look at every single day to try to get some kind of read on them, some kind of 10 EMA strategy. Looking at Tesla on the other screen. So yeah, relatively flat again, just right now inside day, not going to qualify at open. To the upside, yesterday's we are below yesterday's VPOC. That is 57.80. If we break that one, we have the potential to hit 50. 50 no, take that 50 away. It's not even there. 769. 769, maybe 770, which again is a topping spot we hit yesterday. If for some reason we break at that point, we might get something a little bit crazier back to maybe like 809. But I think the Qs have to break out of the channel. Qs and or SPY have to break higher outside of those channels for us to reach those. Otherwise, we're probably going to be trapped in between the 770 zone. And then our immediate downside is 751.49. So call it 751.50. So yeah, I think Tesla's a little bit pinned in that range. I think we need something to really start moving in the overall market for us to see any type of success there. AMD. Another inside day. We have a little bit of breakdown here. So kind of head and shoulders. Looks like a double-headed dragon type setup, which if you Google it, that's not a real thing. So don't even try it. But that could be left shoulder. Technically, this is, I guess, combine the head. It's also a wave count too. So the wave count's probably a little more accurate. And then we're starting a new wave count down. But this was the break. This was just a retest on AMD. And looks like we're opening still in that range. We did get a little bit lower. You see some of that same little double bottom on AMD as well. So we'll see if it holds in this range. But yeah, AMD right now just doesn't look to me that exciting. The only thing I would say is you probably have a little bit more down edge just because of this. If we start to re-break out of this 103.58 zone. So if I'm like, no, you know what? I love AMD. I'm hopping in. I'm definitely selling some shares right there. Somewhere right in the top of this 103.30 zone. And I'll just lock my profits, but that's a relatively key retracement of the initial breakdown. So we'll see what happens on that one. You can tell on the daily chart, really just a big indecision candle. So 3 nice moves higher. Indecision. We're staying pretty much pinned in between the 89. If we break out higher today, we might have a good chance of a decent move. Let me see if I got targets to the upside. But it's very possible AMD is just kind of an inside flat type move. Yep. So to the downside on AMD, I would be looking for initially about $100.83. And if we start to break that down, a little bit of a wider move, we'd be looking at about $99.43 to the downside. To the upside, if we start moving, probably initial target. I mean, realistically, I think we probably get to 104.78. If that breaches, we probably get 106.53. But again, it's not huge moves where the wider the range as far as risk to reward goes, usually the better the trade is, the more we could sit through it. In these type of conditions, if you are going to take trades, I would definitely recommend being a little quicker with stops. Try to be a little quicker on just taking some profits. Start the month off small. Stack some wood if possible. There will be definitely some really, really exciting days and some exciting opportunities that come this month in the market, just with some bigger direction moves from the overall market. Those are the days, especially if you have some wood stacked, that would allow you to sit into trades longer, take more full advantage of the bigger moves. If we are able to stack any type of wood today, we will be able to, like, if we take losses and we're taking 2R losses today, things like that, then almost for the rest of the month, we got to start playing catch up, right? We got to get back to break even. And anytime we have those moves, now we still have to be a little bit quicker on taking those profits, just because we got to get back to break even and then look for profit. So stacking wood first day of the month, especially on a day that doesn't seem like it's opening that crazy, that insane today, at least. Pick and choose your battles. We have NVDA. Again, not going to qualify on 10 EMA out of the gate, at least. To the downside, I'd be looking at, and we kind of already hit that yesterday, so 185.78. If that one breaks and we start to really hold those levels, the next stop would get a little bit more exciting. So that would take us to 179.85. Gives us about $4 or $5 to the downside. If we start breaking down right now on the hourly chart, we are still above the 10 EMA. On the hourly chart, we have heavy VPOCs above us. So these are going to be some tough ranges to break. I'd want to see 188.55, probably a little bit higher than that, 188.70. If we could get above that level, then the next stop is 191.94. And that could give us maybe about a $4 move to the upside. We already kind of got to that range yesterday, and then we sold off, we pulled back there. And then if we're still in it, we want to hang in a little bit longer. We're looking maybe 194.43. So we'll see. We'll see right now. Again, I think we're kind of just inside day pinned on NVIDIA as well. Delta, DAL. Delta actually had a pretty interesting gap down yesterday, and then it came back, retraced most of that move, and then after the retrace filled, it did pull back a little bit at close. It's opening in an interesting spot. We are taking out the last hourly sell candle on Delta. We're very close to it either way. Here's a little, probably I'd say more, this is our uptrend from yesterday. Yeah, we broke. We're starting to reject into that. I'd have to wait on this one too. To the upside, again, probably looking for 42.32. Again, it's inside day, nothing too crazy on Delta. To the upside from here, if we do start breaking, the highest I see is 42.65 for the day. And then to the low side, and again, I'm not going to just short this out of the gate yet, but to the low side, we'd be looking back into the $40.67 range. If that breaks, 39.47. So I would say most of my risk to reward is actually to the downside at this point on Delta. If I take a trade, which would not be yet, I'm not going to short this thing out of the gate. Zero reason to do that, but would rather lean a little bit more short for right now, because if I get stopped to the upside, all right, I lose an arb. I have a lot bigger potential down to the downside on it. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Apple. Somehow I lost Apple. There we go. On my other screen. All right, so Apple probably inside day. We'll see. We still got another 15 minutes left. If Apple does anything wild and crazy, it's kind of close to the highs of the day. It needs to put a little bit more work in. Apple is actually below yesterday's VPOC. If it does breach, and I liked Apple yesterday, at least as to where it was opening, and then it immediately pulled back. So it looked good at open, as far as just range wise goes. To the upside on this one, we still have 152.47. So we have about a $2.15 to the high side before I think we get some kind of pullback. If it runs really bullish, 155.89. So you do have some upside in Apple. We are opening currently right below VPOC. But if we break highs of the day, I have no problem going long on Apple. That's probably our best bet for the day as far as making some decent R's. If we start selling off to the downside, I'm looking at 148.19-ish. So somewhere in that zone is where I'd be comfortable looking for maybe a long. However, if we do get down there, we're back below that hourly 10 EMA. So kind of weakens the theory that we're going to really start ripping out higher from there. And that's almost getting rejected twice at that level. So we'll see on Apple, but it's very, very indecision. Yesterday, big indecision candle. So bulls, bears fought a little bit. We did hang on above the 21 EMA on a daily. That's usually a good support resistance zone. I would say the 21, the 10, and the 89 for me are some of the strongest ones that I see a lot of resistance or support come in on those zones. So the fact that we held above, I'd probably be leading a little bit more bullish, but yeah, big, pretty much relative indecision candle. I know you guys want to get to CRM, so we will take a look. They were up about 8% after earnings yesterday. I mean, CRM is a stable company. They have tons of cash to utilize. They've got solid clientele. I've said this before. I think CRM is a strong company. That being said, probably ran into a very big overvalued area, but right now I think you are getting some discounts on CRM in general. Cash flow is huge, Falco says. Yeah, I definitely agree. Zach says, what's up, everybody? Happy June. However, he said it on hosting panelists. So this is a good time for a reminder. Make sure you guys switch it to everyone instead of hosting panelists. Otherwise, it's just me that's getting wished a happy June. And I feel like that should be inclusive. That should be inclusive because everybody should have a fantastic June for sure. Zach says, I noticed it right away. I know. I don't know why it just doesn't automatically come up as everybody instead of making everybody switch it, but just a reminder. Dustin says CRM bullish gap and go. Tons of bear volume yesterday and over resistance. So let me actually pull up. I agree with all of that, Dustin. What I would say is the area it's gapping into. Let me do a quick screen share. I lost the screen. There we go. New share. CRM. And also think about the type of market we're into. If you are a believer that we hit double bottom, like we've hit the lows of the market and we're ripping out higher, then you probably want to be a buyer of everything at this point. If you think that we are still technically in a bear market, you might want to, like, if I was that person, I held some CRM and I thought, hey, you know what? This is definitely a bear market. We are selling longer term. This for me would be a huge gift to the market. If I thought the entire market did bottom out and we were saying, all right, we're going to start heading bullish, then then this is a good buy spot, right? So depends on how the overall market is. I think the fear in the market is still there. But where we're gapping right now is into 177.71. Again, we're trapping a ton of bears, 100% agree. I kind of want to see how it interacts here to the higher side. That's going to give me about 182.21. So that's still about $5 to the upside, just under $5 to the upside. If we could start to really break this 177.60, that's what I'd be watching for. I'd almost want to see some type of a red candle that I could take a break above that plus above this area. So I'll definitely be watching it. It's definitely trapping some bears yesterday. It is a nice little surprise, I guess, for some. But again, if you were the one buying on this candle, any of those green candles, and now you're gapping up, I would expect a little bit of sell-off. Maybe we want to get down to 175.49 as a better entry, either there or we look for like 174.53, and then we try to push back to that 177 and break through. So it's gapping a lot in a very difficult bearish sentiment market. So I'd be cautious of just jumping in right out of the gate. I'd want to probably wait for something to develop. That being said, yeah, I'd want to put a little bit more bullish pressure on it than bearish and lean in that direction if I could. I really don't want to short this thing. but I'd want to wait for a better opportunity to. I don't want to wait for a better opportunity to set up my trade, to give myself a better risk reward, just as there is definitely a lot of fear in this market. So, yeah, bullish sentiment, not out of the gate for me. And if it just opens and just rips higher, I miss it. I'm not gonna have two issues about it. But it could be a decent trapping gap. I just don't like where we're kind of opening right now. I'd want to see something interact with that. Juan says this should be a gap and go, so no retest or a small one, right? I would expect some type of a retest into this resistance. So you could have, where's my little crayon thing? There it is. Right, so let's say we have some selling, and then we get a big gap up, right, to here. If we've gotten to this certain level before, and that was support, broke support, we tested it, right? And we could identify that this is some type of resistance. If something gaps into resistance, well, we held over here, we finally broke here, we use that as resistance here, right? And this is a big area that I think we're interacting with. So right now it looks like we're starting to break through that little line. So that would be a little more positive for me, at least. But right at that 177, I don't know. But if it doesn't, it almost doesn't matter how good some kind of gap is. If it's into resistance, you want to give it some time for a pullback. Right. So yeah, for me, again, and the bigger the gaps are, just the more opportunity people are able to say, you know what, I was down a lot on the previous trades. I need to make some money back to just balance out my portfolio, and this could be a gift for me to lock in some profit or lose less than I was before. So it all depends. Other than that, yeah, I think CRM's a strong company. I've said that for a while. I like them a lot. But to a certain extent, everything does get overvalued at some point. Thinkorswim has a daily high-low indicator built in. Yeah, if Dustin says play it more like a retest gap and let it pull back. Large gaps like this in a downtrending market, which is what we're in now, I'd want to be patient at open on anything with news catalyst. So for me, anything with news catalyst, I'm just going to wait, let the candles develop. If it just rips, it rips. And I'll just miss the trade, but I can guarantee you some point during the day, there'll be another opportunity for me to get back in, make some R's. I don't have to just jump in like crazy. You have a lot of people. It's a heavily held company in a lot of portfolios, a lot of people like that are looking for good quality companies on the dips. The Apples, CRM would be one of them, the Googles, Amazons. There's going to be some interest on these pullbacks where you will have some people coming in, buying and saying, listen, if it goes lower, it goes lower, but at least I know I'm sitting in good companies, right? And then you get these type of gaps. For me, if I was in it, if I was buying anywhere in this range down here, yeah, I would be selling at the open. I would say, thank you for that little present. I don't care if you go higher. I'm going to lock in my gains. Right. So just be patient, but it is a gap and go. So we will definitely be watching it. And it will qualify actually for a 10 EMA if we do want to take it as a 10 EMA, but we'll be very cautious on it. The fact that we are starting to, at least pre-market, get above that 177.80 gives me a little more incentive to get a little bit more excited, because now we're actually breaking above that resistance. Zach says the all access pass has been a game changer for my patients. I have it on and you kind of reminding me that it's still early to wait. It's only the first day of the month. We have actually 5 more minutes left until the trading month starts. That's kind of wild, right? So like we didn't even start yet. If there's any other tickers, you guys can throw it out there. We'll just run through a couple. Or I'll just kind of just scroll through a couple right now just to see where things are opening, just in case. But otherwise, yeah, CRM is decent. Everything else that we normally trade is a little bit range bound. I think the markets are a little bit range bound. We're starting to maybe get above that little. So we drew this pre-market. We're starting to get a little bit above that, but again, we're right at the top where we rejected here. We rejected here. Maybe we break. Even if we break, that should now become the support. That's a heavy resistance area. We hit it. This would be the third time, the third attempt to break through. So if we can break through it, great. I don't care. I'll miss that trade and then pull back. That should be some type of support. We could play it again going forward. Costco. The Costco. It's not really gapping or doing anything too crazy. Inside day yesterday, you do have a little bit of a red hammer. Let me see if we have some ranges on this bad boy. So Costco. Costco. So we have two VPOCs above us, 468.62, and then the next one becomes 469.57. So we have a little bit of resistance to the upside. We'd have to get through those first. To the downside, we have 464.19 holding us up. So it might be a little bit on the tight range. We are in that gap zone. So from, I don't know, was that earnings or just, I don't know. It's not a gap down on earnings. So I'm not sure what that gap was exactly, but maybe that was Target coming out and sympathy play was Costco. Not quite sure, but yeah, it's got a little more work to do before I think we see any explosive move so far today. It's the hot dog gap. Yeah, that's was that page 76 of the how to day trade book? I believe it was page 76. The hot dog gap. It's a good one. It's a good one. JD. Oh, page 77. Yeah, 76 was a picture of the hot dog. So I forgot. JD, nothing too interesting on day trade wise, just kind of inside day range, a little bit of a high wave yesterday. It was a gap up. Technically, this is a retest gap that didn't retest yet. So I would be a little patient with that one. Baba. Inside day from yesterday. Here's another gap up. The one thing with this gap, it did at least clear some type of support or resistance. So we got a gap above there. I'd be looking for maybe somewhere 94.19 if you did want to try to get in, but anything China related still has a little bit of negative connotation in the stock market for longer term investors. Medifast. I thought there was like a I mean, volume on day trades, not great. This could be a retest spot. Medifast, I have no idea what they're doing. I keep thinking it's like Weight Watchers, just a fasting part of it, I think, but it's not, obviously. They got the name fasting in there, so I'm like, maybe it's weight loss, but then they have like the picture, like that's the picture of the third booster shot right there for their logo. So I'm very confused. But yeah, this would be the retest spot if you like it. Trend wise, it's been definitely on a little bit of a downtrend. You have a little bit of a longer term support. You could probably set up a trade. I think it's a little too early to get in. If this one starts to break a little bit higher or at least consolidate, that's what I would probably like. Just trade sideways for a little bit, give me a better range, and then look for some type of a breakout. Oh no, market's live. All right, YouTube. It's that time. I got to let you guys go. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you guys hit that little like, subscribe, send me emails, send me notes, bake me cupcakes, whatever you guys do there on YouTube to show some love. And we will catch you guys all tomorrow. Be easy, be safe. It's now the beginning of a new trading month. Stack some wood. We got all month long. Later, guys.